Hello there and welcome back to another Tutorial Tuesday. This week we'll be seeing how to combine orthographic projections into one 3D drawing. It's fine if it doesn't make sense now, hopefully by the end of the video it will. This is not a skill you absolutely need to draw in perspective, instead this is more of a fun perspective puzzle. By the way, in this video I will be relying on the picture plane and 1-point perspective a lot, so if you're not familiar with those, I would highly recommend watching the tutorials I did for those. You can click the video for 1-point perspective in the top right, and I'll put both of them in the description down below. And now, let's get right into the video. Before we start, it is important to understand that what we are looking at is a combination of two views. We have the top view with this plan right here, the picture plane and also the station point. So the viewer is right here looking at this house in this case through the picture plane. Secondly, we have a side view, which is this plan of the house, the ground line and the horizon line. What we have to do is combine this 2D plan and this 2D plan in a 3D plan, because as you know, 2 plus 2 is 3. The way we go about this is as follows. The first thing we have to do is copy this side view straight underneath the top view. The easiest way to do this is just to extend these lines all the way down and try to make sure you actually make them perpendicular, so more like this. And then you can use the side view to match the heights. There we go. And I will just make this a bit darker so you can actually see it, because right now I'm not sure you can. Like this. The next thing we want to do is to establish the position of the vanishing point, which in this case is pretty easy because this is 1-point perspective, and that means that the vanishing point is straight up from the station point where it meets the horizon line. So in this case, it is right here, the VP. Our objective now is to make sure that all these points are first projected on the picture plane, and from there are dropped down in our side view. That way we will get a 3D plan over here because we are combining the front view and the top view. I realize now I have been using front view and side view interchangeably. It is actually more of a front view, but I guess both terms work. It doesn't really matter in this case, as long as you know that the top view is different. I guess that's the most important. When there are points already on the picture plane, we can straight away copy them right here and put them in ink, because they will be final. They will already be in the correct position over here, because there is no need to translate any distance to the picture plane. So in this case, it is the top of the roof, which is this, the two edges of the roof, which are these right here. And because this is the top view, you can't really see it, but these points right here are underneath the edges of the roof, and so is the door. So basically everything at this left side is already in the correct position because it is touching the picture plane. When you are doing this, you want to make sure you use a fine liner that is as fine as possible. But I'm gonna sacrifice a bit of accuracy to make sure that everything is clear for you guys. So I'll be using a 0.3, but if you have a 0.1 or even a 0.05, I would recommend using that. There we go. I think the easiest way to go about this is to first finish this part and then later move on to the cardboard. The way you want to do this is from everything we have drawn now, because we will be moving away from the picture plane. In the 3D version right here, it will be vanishing lines going away to the vanishing points. So you want to draw these lines first. and they will help us put the other points in the correct place, basically. The way to do this is to project either of these points to the picture plane first and then drop it straight down. To get it to the correct place on the picture plane, you want to draw a line towards the station point right here, but stop when you actually cross the picture plane. So for this corner right here, this would be the correct place on the picture plane because the viewer is right here, looking towards the house in this angle. And then where it crosses the picture plane, you're gonna make it drop straight down. And because this is the back edge of the roof, it will be on this line because this is also the edge of the roof. It's in line with this point, which is this point. So drop it down until it crosses this line right here. And so this will be the side of the roof. We can do this point next. So this will be the back of the top of the roof. So it will be on this line because this is also the top of the roof. And again, you want to draw a line towards the station point. Stop where it crosses the picture plane and then drop it straight down. You want to use construction lines here. And there we go. This is the next point. And then you connect all of the different points to make the roof. Make sure it's in line with the vanishing point. There we go. As you can already see, because I'm using a wider fine liner, it's not very accurate, but it's fine. Alright, the next thing we want to do now is the carport. And as you can see from the top view, it is not touching the picture plane, which means that in our front view, it will actually be not here, but a bit backwards. It's probably easiest to start with this point because this is touching a part of the house that we have already established. This is this line right here. And so this point will be along this line. So what we do, it's the same again, draw a line towards the station point, and where it meets the picture plane, you drop it straight down. Unfortunately, I will be very repetitive this video because this process is in fact also very repetitive. Again, there will be nothing more here, so you can just draw this line and make it final. There we go. Another tip to make this a bit easier is that every line that is parallel with the picture plane in the top view will also be parallel with the ground line and the horizon line in the front view. So if this moves from left to right parallel to the picture plane, this line, which will be right here, will also move left to right parallel with the ground line. So what we can do is just draw another guideline parallel to the ground line, and then look at this point, draw it towards the station point, have it drop down, and this will be a point right here. And if we did this correctly, this line and this line should be converging towards the vanishing point, which you can see it is. And then again, you can draw this with ink. And from the front view, we can see the carport is as big as this part of the house. So that means that we can also make this as big as the house. There we go. And again, from the front view, we can see this is a square. So we can just finish the front of the carport like this. And for now, it's actually pretty easy to finish. we'll use one more guideline towards the vanishing point right here. And because we can see that the back of the carport is on the same line as the back of the house, we can use that information to put it right here. And again, the height stays the same all over the carport. So we drop this down once more. Then this line. And there we go. All that's left now is to put in the door of the carport once I have put all these lines. Once I have put all these lines in ink. Again, what we can do is use this, which was the original front of the carport when we copied the front view. Move it towards the vanishing point, like this, and then same for this point right here. And where they cross the new front of the carport is where this will start. And we can do the same thing for the top of the door of the carport. So right here, right there. And then if we move these straight up, we can go until it hits the other line. So like this. Same right here. It's this line. And then carry it across to make the door. So when we put it in ink, it looks like this. And there you go. I'll get rid of some of the guidelines so you get a better idea of what the finished piece looks like. In reality, you don't really want to do this because you want to make sure you can still see all of your guidelines. But I will do it for the purpose of this video. So there you go. This finished piece is a combination of this top view and this front view combined into a 3D perspective drawing. Let's do the same on this next one, which will be a bit more difficult because it has some different shapes and it's not a shape we are familiar with. It's not like a house. Let's see. Alright, let's look at the second one. The way we go about this is exactly the same as the first one. So first of all, we're gonna copy this straight down. There we go. And then copy the height across from the front view. Like this. The next step now, again, is to establish where the vanishing point will be. So, straight up from the station point, on the horizon line, is the vanishing point. There we go. And again, everything that touches the picture plane right here will already be in the correct position on this front view. From there we can again draw some guidelines towards the vanishing point. What we want to do now is find this point, because this point is both the back of this first floor, and we'll also establish the point where this triangle finishes or starts, however you see it. So the way we do it is make it go towards the station point, and where it crosses the picture plane, drop it straight down. There we go. This is the point where the bottom ends, this is the point where the first floor ends, and this will also be the point where the triangle finishes. Next thing we want to do is see where this second floor actually starts. So as you can see, it goes in line with this first box that we drew right here. So we're going to connect this to the vanishing point and then see where this lands. So So go towards the station point, drop it down. And there we go. This is where the second floor will start. And because this goes straight across parallel to the picture plane, we can also draw it straight across on this front view. Make sure you don't go too far, so because this is in line with the top of these cubes, it will be until this vanishing line right here. We can then connect this this. The next thing to do is finish this box, and be careful, this is still the first floor because this box right here is just a representation of this triangle. So this triangle is whatever is left of the first floor right here. So knowing that, we can't just fully draw this line to the end, but it will be until here, and then this will drop down, and this will go to the right. Again, I'm sacrificing a bit of accuracy here, as you can see, but it's all good. And what we can do now is try to finish this bottom floor and see how we can continue working on the second floor. So we established these points already. So because there is nothing more to do on the bottom floor right here, you can continue these lines right here. And again, you can't really see it here, but this point is this point, it's also this point, and it's also the top of the triangle right here. To build the second floor, we'll again need some guidelines, so we'll just draw all of these vanishing lines towards the vanishing point. And if we want to start moving it up, we need this point again. So we already drew it towards the station point and dropped it down, but instead of dropping it all the way down right here to find where the top of the bottom floor was, we drop it down until here, because this will be the top of the second floor. So there we go, this will be the height of the second floor. And then again, because this is parallel to the picture plane, we can draw a line parallel to the horizon line that acts as a guideline to find our next points. Be careful, it is until here and not until here, because this is still the bottom floor, the first floor I guess. This is the second floor where the triangle will be. So the next point we need to find is this one. So towards the station point, drop it down, it will be right there. From the front view we can see that this goes straight down, so we can also draw this straight down. And now we connect this point with this point, because this triangle goes in the middle right here, which is this point, to the back right here, which is this point. So we can connect it right here. Now to finish the triangle and the second floor, the easiest will be to find this point right here. So draw it towards the station point until it meets the picture plane, and drop it down until it hits this vanishing line, because we're working on this floor right now. We can't really put it in ink yet because this will be on top. But what we can do is get this across again because it goes across right here, parallel to the picture plane. So like this. And where this horizontal line meets this vertical line, and this vertical line is the back edge of this triangle, we create this point, which we can draw in ink because this finishes off the triangle. And now all that's left is this smaller cube, or it's not really a cube, but the smaller piece on top of this one. So let's see where its corners are. Towards the station point, and then down. So it has a corner right here. We already found this back corner because that's this one. And then this corner right here towards the station point. Straight down. Right here. So this way we can complete the base of this little box, which will be this little square right here. Then all that is left is to find the height. And to find the height, we can again draw some guidelines from this front view. So here we go. This is the left side of this box. So this right here will also be the left side. And that actually gives us enough points to finish the rest of the box. Instead of speeding this section up, I will use this as a background while doing the outro. First of all, I want to apologize for the lack of energy in this video. At the time of making this, I was fighting a cold and honestly, I was losing. I think you can probably hear it in my voice still. If you can't, it means I always sound like this, which is arguably a lot worse. Secondly, I want to thank you because we are really close to 100 subscribers. Almost triple digit, baby, let's go! I was thinking of doing a 100 sub special, but I'm not sure what to do yet. If you have any suggestion, please let me know in the comments below. And lastly, despite the lack of energy, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like. Next week we'll be doing this again, but in 2-point perspective. So if you don't want to miss that video, make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for being here, and don't forget to ink outside the box.